The Existence of the Human Soul and the Experiment of Dr. Duncan MacDougall. Duncan MacDougall was a medical doctor and surgeon of the early 20th century in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Originally born in Glasgow in 1866, he made the move to the USA when he was 20 years old. Having attended the Boston University School of Medicine, Dr. MacDougall, once receiving his degree, went straight into work at the Haverhill Hospital, thus beginning his medical career. In 1907, the physician attempted to prove the existence of the soul through a scientifically recorded experiment which had taken place the 5 years prior. The idea being that if the soul existed and exited the body upon the time of death, a weight change should be able to be recorded and therefore proving its existence. In his case study, Dr. MacDougall used 6 patients in total, all from nursing homes, and for whom death was imminent, placing each dying patient onto a cot which could be weighed both before, during, and after. 4 were suffering from the results of tuberculosis, an illness caused by airborne bacteria. 1 had diabetes and 1 had an unspecified sickness. MacDougall specifically chose those who were suffering from conditions that caused physical exhaustion, as he needed the patient to remain still until they died so that he could accurately measure their weight. When nearing death, their entire bed would be placed onto an industrial-sized weighing scale that was sensitive within 0.2 of an ounce, or 5.6 grams. He noted that at the moment of death, there was a very small weight loss, ranging from 0.75 of an ounce to 1.5 ounces. 1 patient lost weight, then put the weight back on, and 2 lost weight after death and proceeded to lose more weight shortly after. The experiments took place over a 5-year period with the assistance of other doctors. However, the experiment itself, despite seeming harmless in terms of medical experiments, brought about concern based on the possibility of losing donations which were essential to the maintenance and running of the hospital. On the other side of the coin, there were potential religious implications if the experiment turned out to be true. Providing evidence of a soul having a physical manifestation and even a weight to it would and did have an impact on the Western religions, particularly in the Bible Belt of the USA, which defended the experiment since it had proven a belief in the existence of the soul. Unfortunately for MacDougall, data on 2 of the patients could not be used to validate the soul weight, due to a technical issue with the scale, ultimately leaving 4, of which only 1 showed the loss of weight. Wanting to expand the experiment, Dr. MacDougall used 15 dogs, and with the same premise in mind, they eventually showed, as MacDougall had predicted, no change in the weight at the time of death, due to the belief that dogs do not possess souls. In March, the New York Times, wanting to publish the information gathered by Dr. MacDougall, went ahead and did so, violating its terms not to publish any scientific reports before they had been published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal. They broke the story in an article titled, "Soul Has Weight, Physician Thinks." 2 months later, in May, both the American Medicine Journal and the Journal of American Society for Psychic Research ripped into MacDougall's findings, and other physicians declined to have any association with the work whatsoever. The experiment became known as the 21-gram experiment and has been largely denied as having any creditable validity in the scientific community. Whilst the concept has been rubbished as having any basis in reality, it still gathers a lot of interest and fascination in contemporary society, including a film also called 21 Grams, starring Naomi Watts and Sean Penn. Whilst MacDougall believed in the possibility of a soul having weight, he himself stated that the experiment would have to be repeated many times before a conclusion could be obtained. Thus far, his experiment has not been repeated. I think Dr. MacDougall's idea is both fascinating and slightly nerve-wracking, and I hail him for thinking outside the box in trying to prove something which remains a mystery for both the scientific and religious communities of today. Until we know different, humans will continue to search into the unknown. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, let me know your thoughts on this particular video. I, for one, believe all dogs have souls. Take care, friends.